Top 20 Web Services Interview Questions and Answers. 1. What is a web service? A web service is a software system designed to allow communication between different applications over a network using standard protocols like HTTP, XML, and JSON. 2. What are the main types of web services? There are three main types of web services: SOAP, Simple Object Access Protocol, REST, Representational State Transfer, and GraphQL. 3. Explain SOAP and its components. SOAP is a protocol for exchanging structured information in the implementation of web services. It includes the envelope, header, and body elements. The envelope contains the message, the header contains optional metadata, and the body contains the actual data. 4. What is REST and how does it work? REST is an architectural style for designing networked applications. It uses standard HTTP methods, get, post, put, delete, to perform CRUD, create, read, update, delete, operations on resources identified by URLs. 5. What is the difference between SOAP and REST? SOAP is a protocol with a strict specification, while REST is an architectural style. SOAP uses XML for message formatting, while REST typically uses XML, JSON, or other lightweight formats. SOAP has built-in security and transaction support, whereas REST relies on external mechanisms. 6. What is a WSDL file in the context of SOAP web services? A WSDL, Web Services Description Language, file is an XML document that describes the details of a SOAP web service, including the methods it provides, the input and output parameters, and the location of the service. 7. Explain the concept of statelessness in REST. REST is stateless, which means that each request from a client to a server must contain all the information needed to understand and process the request. There is no server-side session state stored between requests. 8. What is the purpose of HTTP methods in RESTful web services? HTTP methods, get, post, put, delete, in RESTful web services determine the type of operation to be performed on a resource. For example, get is used to retrieve data, post to create data, put to update data, and delete to remove data. 9. What is the difference between put and post in RESTful services? Put is used to update an existing resource or create a new resource if it doesn't exist at the specified URL. Post is used to create a new resource under a URL, and the server assigns the URL. 10. What is the role of an API in web services? An API, Application Programming Interface, defines the set of rules and protocols that allow different software applications to communicate with each other. In the context of web services, an API specifies how to interact with a service. 11. What is the purpose of an authentication token in web services? An authentication token is used to verify the identity of a user or application when making requests to a web service. It helps ensure that only authorized users can access protected resources. 12. Explain the concept of versioning in web services. Versioning in web services involves managing changes to the API over time. It ensures that existing clients can continue to work with the service even when new versions are introduced. Common versioning approaches include URL versioning and header-based versioning. 13. What is RESTful API documentation and why is it important? RESTful API documentation provides detailed information about how to use an API, including endpoints, request parameters, response formats, and authentication requirements. It is essential for developers to understand and integrate with the API effectively. 14. What is CRS, and why is it relevant in web services? CRS, Cross-Origin Resource Sharing, is a security feature implemented in web browsers to control access to resources from different domains. It is relevant in web services to specify which domains are allowed to access resources on a server. 15. What is JSON Web Token, JWT, and how is it used in web services for authentication? JWT is a compact, self-contained means for representing claims between two parties. In web services, it is often used as an authentication token. It contains information about the user and is digitally signed to ensure its authenticity. 16. What is the role of a REST client in consuming web services? A REST client is responsible for sending HTTP requests to a RESTful web services endpoints and processing the responses. It can be a web application, mobile app, or any software component that communicates with the service. 17. How can you secure a web service? You can secure a web service using techniques like HTTPS for data encryption, authentication mechanisms, example OAuth, API keys, authorization checks, input validation, and rate limiting. 18. Explain the concept of pagination in web services. Pagination is used to break large sets of data into smaller, more manageable chunks. It is often implemented in web services using query parameters like page and page_size to retrieve a specific portion of data. 19. What are the advantages of using a RESTful web service over SOAP? Advantages of REST include simplicity, flexibility, lightweight data formats, JSON, and ease of use with HTTP, which is widely supported. RESTful services are typically easier to scale and cache as well. 20. How do you handle errors and exceptions in web services? Errors and exceptions in web services can be handled by returning appropriate HTTP status codes, example 404 for not found, 500 for internal server error, along with error messages or details in the response body. Additionally, logging errors on the server side is crucial for debugging and monitoring. Like, share and subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell notification icon for our upcoming updates.